Well, it's me, it's JSCOTT. Prom Night 3, The Last Kiss. So I was writing something. Okay, so this was different. While the first Prom Night was a straight-up slasher flick, very serious in tone, but still a little bit cheesy because it's 80s, the second film was a had a horror comedy element to it. This one is sort of a spoof of the franchise, or the films to this point. And as I've mentioned and predicted, okay, so I'll be truthful. I'd already seen the first one, and I knew everything about the second one and third one because of Fayless's videos. So I knew that. I know nothing going into the fourth one, which I'll do tomorrow. I know nothing going into that one, so that's going to be a new experience for me. This one I knew some things about, and that's how I knew that there wasn't going to be any continuity, because at the end of the second one, she's taken over Michael Ironside, and in this one, she's a prisoner in hell when it starts, and then she somehow gets herself free, kills the janitor, who is one of her former lovers when she was alive, I guess, and then starts to, she's going to wreak havoc on the school. But instead falls for a sort of jock named Alex, and kills for him to help him get his grades up. Yeah, she gives up revenge to help a boy she has a thing for, even though she's dead, but yet she's still somehow able to fuck him. Yeah, you can't take this movie serious at all. It's a straight up spoof. It's a lot of comedy. Some of the comedy doesn't hit. I enjoyed some of the comedy in this, but there's some, such as the overuse of the American flag. Not overuse, but they keep trying to use it as a gag. First of all, Alex and Mary Lou have sex on an American flag, and then the next morning, Alex wakes up naked, wrapped in it, and walks around the school in it to hide. And then there's a thing where she kills the teacher, whose thing is he likes food. She turns him into he likes food, so she turns him into a banana split with little American flags on him. I'm not appalled or anything, being an American myself, but why? It doesn't make any sense to me, especially since we know for a fact this does not take place in America. How? Because in the last film, when they showed money, it was Canadian dollars. So obviously, they're in Canada. And this said to be the same school as the previous one. They mentioned a fire, which could have been the incident from the previous film's prom, or could be the 1957 prom, but it's the same thing. It's the same school. Although Mary Lou is played by a different actress here. Yeah. So let me just get a couple of it's nitpicky things, because you're not supposed to take this movie serious. It's a spoof. Don't get yourself all out of whack like Fayless did. You're not supposed to take this seriously. But if there is one thing I want to talk serious about for a minute here, it's the main character. Sorry, I'm trying to hold back yawns. It's the main character, Alex, played by Tim Conlon. Are we supposed to root for him? I get spoofing and stuff like that, but you have Mary Lou killing people, and then he buries them in the football field. Are we supposed to be rooting for him to get out of this predicament? And when the cops show up to arrest his ass, are we supposed to feel sorry for him? He's an accessory to murder. That he's essentially become the murderer because he can't prove anyone else but him is behind it. And there are some things that are kind of predictable, let me say. Like when Alex's sister shows up at Shane's house looking for Alex. It'd be one thing if she just looked normal looking for Alex. But she's dressed up all hot like, that's not really his sister. And it's Mary Lou, of course. And then there's other things like, I don't know, like the teacher liking food. And what he's got like a candy bar in one scene and something in another scene. Oh, he's probably going to die related to food. And he does. Like I say, he gets turned into a banana split. So, yeah. Some things are obvious. You're going to plant an onion and, that guy's on a football team. He's going to have a football-related death. And he does. Goes dead. There's a scene where Alex tells Mary Lou he's done. She starts going purple and screaming, Alex! Alex! And spinning around. It's just, there's a certain point that you're just like, what the fuck am I watching? You want to turn it off, but you can't look away. It's mesmerizing. I gotta say, out of all of the Prom Night movies I watched so far, including the remake, I think I've been most entertained by this. That goes a long way for me. Because, I told you before, I enjoyed the remake. I thought the original one was okay, but kind of dull and boring. The second one perked my interest because it was a little more, stuff going on. And this one, there's really a lot going on. It's probably the most interesting to me. It's not going to win the Academy Awards or anything, but yeah. And the releases for this, it's a little bit weird. The American release is actually the TV edit. If you want to get the uncut version, there's a version on YouTube that's uncut. But also, you got to get like foreign versions for it. And even I didn't notice anything too different other than some swearing. And there's barely tits in it, to be honest. You get like a little shot when she's going like, Mary's going like this. But it's a far away shot, so you can't really see anything. As Master Chaos said, if you can't see a nipple or a butt crack or a booty cheek, if you don't see nipple or butt crack or butt cheeks, you can't really count it as nudity, can you? You know what I mean? For instance, what movie I just watched the other day that had Reanimator, Beyond Reanimator. They had what's her name? Elena Nieves, but that's not her name. Thor's wife. It's not really a nude scene. You see breastises, but she's pressed up against, the main dude, so you can't really see it. Stuff like that. I don't really consider that nudity per se. You gotta see nipple or butt cheek or butt crack. Stuff like that, So it's not really nudity per se. But there is some questionable cover-ups in the TV version. Like, for instance, Shane, Alex's best friend, saying dork instead of a swear word. But, yeah, this is probably the most tame when it comes to swearing. There is some good gore in this, though, which is pretty good. But it's very weird disconnect when it's the same writer of the previous film, but they decided to go the spoof route, so it's a little disconnecting. But like I said, this is probably the most enjoyable one I've watched so far. So I'm at an enjoyable scale, I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. I kind of enjoyed it. It's a little campy. The ending, though, is what got me. It's almost Twilight Zone-ish, to be honest. So, by the end of this, Mary Lou takes Alex back to hell with her, where for some reason now, she is being worshipped, and she becomes prom queen. Even though we saw at the beginning of the film, she was a prisoner, and now they're worshiping her, which is kind of weird. The girlfriend shows up, Sarah. Alex's girlfriend Sarah shows up, despite the fact that he's been cheating on her ass all movie. And there's a sort of running joke with her where she says, I don't get angry, I bake. And you think it's leading to something, and it looks like it's going to, because she shows up with like a flamethrower thing. She's like, I don't get even, I bake. Then it doesn't work. Or I don't get angry, I bake. And it doesn't work. And you're like, what was the point of that joke? But it's a spoof, whatever. And so eventually they get this old style 50s car, and they try to run her over, going through a bunch of undead zombie versions of their friends that were killed. And they get teleported, supposedly back home. But as it turns out, not so much. Mary Lou shows up and kills Sarah, and then as Alex tries to get help from people, they don't see him because he's still in hell technically, and they're stuck in the 50s version of hell, and they can't see him, and he's freaking out. He's like, you win, and it ends. That's very Twilight Zone-ish. I like that kind of ending. But like I said, it gets 8 out of 10 for me. So what are your thoughts on Prom Night 3, The Last Kiss? Put it in the comments below. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. It's getting late, so I'm going to have to wait to do the 4th one until tomorrow. I'm sorry. I tried, but I'm getting tired. So make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching. I've been Scotty. See you in the next one.